You know, we always talk about intelligence and like being smart and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if being smart isn't just one thing?
Right.
What if there are lots of ways to be intelligent?
I like where this is going.
That's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're taking a deep dive into Howard Gardner's Frames of Mind.
Yeah.
It's the book that kind of blew everyone's minds back in the 80s.
It really did, yeah. For decades, a single IQ score was like the way to measure intelligence.
Like it was the be-all and end-all. Your one number. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. It was like this magic number that supposedly told you how much potential you had.
A mental yardstick.
Exactly. But, Gardner, he came along and said, hold on a second.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on in our brains than just this one number.
Right. Like our brains are way too amazing to be summed up by just one score.
Exactly.
So how did Gardner even decide what counts as an intelligence?
Well, he didn't just randomly pick skills or anything.
Okay.
He had a really specific set of criteria.
Okay.
Like almost like a checklist.
Oh, so like a test.
Yeah. For an ability to be considered a separate intelligence, it had to meet like 8 different conditions or signs.
8 signs, okay.
One of them was, could it be isolated by brain damage?
What does that mean?
So like imagine if a specific part of the brain was injured.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that ability disappear while other abilities stay intact?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like think of it like a puzzle piece.
Okay.
If one piece is missing, the whole picture
Or
changes.
it's not complete anymore.
Yeah. He also looked at savants and prodigies.
No, those are some fascinating people.
Oh, yeah.
Like how can someone be so incredibly gifted in one area,
Right.
but maybe not so much in others?
Exactly. And that was a clue to him that these talents might
But
be...
that's separate intelligences?
Yeah, separate intelligences in action.
It's mind-blowing to think about. Like a 3-year-old who can play Mozart on the piano.
Right. Or solve these complex math problems in their head.
Yeah, but then maybe struggle with like
Basics.
basic everyday stuff. Yeah. So did he only look at brains though?
Not at all. He also considered things like developmental history.
Okay.
So like for each intelligence, he looked at how it progresses from like basic to advanced. Could it be represented through symbols?
So like language?
Yeah, language, musical notation, mathematical formulas, things like that.
So he really did his homework. Okay, enough with the ground rules. Let's get to the good stuff.
Right.
Those intelligences.
Let's start with linguistic intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
This is the intelligence of wordsmiths, storytellers, and poets.
Okay.
People strong in this area are like masters of language.
So all those bookworms out there, they're in good company.
Absolutely. They can use language to inform, persuade, entertain, you name it. They can even create entire worlds with their words.
So it's not just about reading.
Right.
It's about truly understanding and using language.
Exactly. Think about how they weave words, craft metaphors.
Yeah.
And just play with the nuances of language.
Like it's an art form.
It really is. It's beautiful to witness.
Okay. I'm starting to feel a bit of that linguistic intelligence in myself.
Good.
What's next?
Well, this one might surprise you.
Okay.
Musical intelligence.
Ooh.
Now, it's not just about playing an instrument.
Right.
It's about a deep sensitivity to sound, rhythm, and melody.
Mm.
And what's fascinating is that Gardner believed this could be the earliest intelligence to develop.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes even before language.
Wow. So those baby bopping their heads to music,
Yeah.
they're actually tapping into an early form of intelligence.
Exactly. It might seem like just a cute reaction, but it goes deeper than that. It speaks to the power of music to connect with us on like a fundamental level.
Okay, that's a whole new way of looking at baby dance parties.
That's right.
Yeah.
What other intelligence did Gardner propose?
Yeah, I'm ready for more.
Let's move on to logical mathematical intelligence.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
This one's all about reasoning logic and recognizing patterns.
Okay.
It's often associated with mathematicians and scientists. Right.
But it's also anyone who loves a good puzzle or enjoys strategizing in games.
So it's that like analytical mindset that thrives on solving problems and figuring things out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just about crunching numbers.
No.
It's about the ability to think abstractly, analyze information, and make logical connections.
Like those people who can just see the pattern in a sequence.
Yes.
Or like predict the next move in a game.
Exactly.
That's logical mathematical intelligence at play.
It is.
I'm starting to think I rely on that one quite a bit.
I bet we all do.
All right. What else is on this intelligence menu?
Let's talk about spatial intelligence.
Spatial? Okay.
This one is all about visual thinking and spatial awareness.
I like it already.
It's the intelligence of architects, artists, and those people who can parallel park like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, like how do they do that? So it's about being able to picture things in your mind.
Yes.
Rotate objects mentally.
Yeah.
Navigate spaces effectively. Exactly. Like those mental rotation tasks we've all probably seen.
Yeah.
Where you have to like imagine turning an object around in your head.
Oh, yeah. Those are tough.
But people with strong spatial intelligence, they excel at those.
So are we talking about sculptors?
Yeah, sculpture.
Or can see the form within a block of stone?
Exactly. Interior designers who can transform a space with their vision. Surgeons who can navigate the intricate landscape of the human body.
Wow. It really is about seeing the world in a different way.
It is.
Okay, let's keep going. What's next on the list?
Time to get physical.
Ooh.
With bodily kinesthetic intelligence.
Bodily kinesthetic intelligence.
This is the intelligence of movement and coordination.
Oh, okay.
And it's not just about athletic prowess. It's about that mind-body connection.
Okay.
That allows you to control your movements with grace and precision.
So we're talking like dancers, athletes, even surgeons with their steady hands.
Yes. They're all tapping into this intelligence.
It's amazing how much control they have over their bodies.
Think about a potter molding clay, a dancer expressing emotions through movement, an athlete perfectly timing a jump shot.
It's all about that seamless connection between mind and body.
It is.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. These intelligences aren't just about being book smart.
Right.
They encompass so many different ways of being intelligent.
Exactly.
Okay, what's next?
Now we're moving into what Gardner called personal intelligence.
Personal intelligences, okay.
The first one is intrapersonal intelligence.
Intrapersonal, okay.
This one's all about self-awareness and understanding your own inner world.
So this is the intelligence of those who are like deeply introspective.
Yeah.
Insightful, in tune with their own emotions and motivations.
Exactly. They're good at setting goals, reflecting on their experiences, and understanding their strengths and weaknesses.
It's like they have this deep understanding of their own operating system.
Right.
And they can use that knowledge to navigate life.
Exactly.
Okay, that one definitely resonates with me. What about the other personal intelligence?
That would be interpersonal intelligence.
Interpersonal, okay.
And this one is all about understanding and connecting with other people.
Okay, so the opposite of intrapersonal.
In a way, yes. Think of those who are natural communicators, empathetic listeners, skilled at building relationships.
So our social butterflies are mediators, are teachers.
They often are.
Are they high in this intelligence?
Yeah, they have this knack for reading people, understanding their emotions, and navigating social dynamics with ease.
They make it look so easy.
They do. Yeah. And they often excel in fields that involve communication, collaboration, and building connections with others.
It's like they have this extra sense for social cues and emotions. Okay, so that's 7 intelligences down. Is there one more?
There is. Gardner later added an 8th intelligence, which he called a naturalist intelligence.
Naturalist intelligence.
And this one is all about connecting with and understanding the natural world.
So our nature lovers, our gardeners, our environmentalists.
You bet.
They'd be shining in this intelligence.
I think about Darwin.
Okay.
And his groundbreaking observations about the natural world, or even just someone who can walk into a forest and identify every plant and animal.
Right. It's like a superpower.
It is.
It's that ability to recognize patterns in nature, classify organisms, understand ecological relationships.
All of that.
Wow, this list just keeps getting more and more fascinating. And I bet there are even more intelligences out there just waiting to be discovered, right?
Well, actually, Gardner has hinted at a 9th intelligence.
A 9th? What is it?
He calls it existential intelligence.
Existential intelligence, okay.
And this one delves into the big questions of life, meaning, and existence.
Now we're getting really philosophical.
Yeah, it's the intelligence that ponders the stars, questions our place in the universe, and searches for a deeper understanding of life's mysteries.
Like the meaning of life and all that. Wow, this has been an incredible journey so far.
It has.
Through the diverse landscape of human intelligence.
Yeah, we've gone from this one-size-fits-all model.
Only everyone has to fit in this little box.
Right, to a whole kaleidoscope of possibilities.
It really changes how we think about what it means to be intelligent.
It does, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But before we get too deep into that, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And come back to explore the impact of this theory, the criticisms it faced, some fascinating real-world applications.
Sounds good. So it's amazing how this idea of multiple intelligences just resonated with so many people.
Yeah, like it just clicked.
Especially in education.
Oh, I bet.
Suddenly it wasn't just about being book smart.
Yeah.
It was about recognizing and nurturing all these different ways of learning and excelling.
We finally had words to describe what we'd always known.
Right.
That people shine in different ways.
Yeah.
But tell me, did everyone just jump on board with this theory right away?
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
I mean, any theory that challenges the way we think.
Yeah.
It's bound to face some pushback.
Yeah, for sure.
There were some critics who argued that these intelligences were just different thinking styles, not truly separate intelligences.
So more like different flavors of the same ice cream.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay.
Others questioned whether there was even enough scientific evidence to support the theory.
Yeah.
Or they pointed out potential contradictions and ambiguities.
So the classic more research is needed argument.
Exactly.
But despite all that, it seems like MI theory has really held up over time.
Yes.
It's still so widely talked about and used today.
It is, and Gardner himself acknowledges that the theory is like a work in progress.
Okay.
Always open to new discoveries and refinements.
So it's not like set in stone.
No, not at all. It's a living, breathing theory in a way.
I like that. So what's fascinating is that he's described it as like taking on a life of its own.
It has.
Evolving beyond his initial ideas.
Yeah, like he planted a seed.
Yeah.
And it's grown into this whole ecosystem of thought and application.
Such a cool way to think about it. And it makes sense, right? These ideas, they can shape how we understand ourselves in the world.
They really can.
But it's not just about theories, though.
Right.
MI theory has had some real practical applications, too.
It has, especially in education.
Yeah, that seems like the most natural fit, right?
Yeah.
Like understanding how different students learn best.
Exactly. But have there been any studies that have used MI theory to understand human behavior?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Tons. One study looked at how British and Iranian students rated themselves and their family members on the different intelligences.
Ooh, like as a global perspective, what'd they find?
Well, they found some really interesting cultural differences.
Okay.
For instance, Iranian students rated themselves lower in logical mathematical intelligence, but higher in spatial, musical, and intrapersonal intelligence compared to British students.
So cultural influences really seem to shape how they see their own strengths and weaknesses.
It seems that way, yes.
What about when they rated their family members?
Oh, they also differed there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, for example, Iranian students rated their father's mathematical and spatial intelligence lower, but their interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence higher compared to British students.
It's like different cultures place more value on different intelligences.
Yeah.
Which then shapes how we see ourselves and those around us.
Exactly. It shows how MI theory can help us understand cultural nuances and how intelligence is perceived in different societies.
Okay, that's one point for the culture shapes intelligence argument. What was the other study you mentioned?
This one explored the connection between MI theory and gender identity.
Okay.
And it builds on the work of Sandra Bem.
Oh, yeah. Her research on androgyny.
Exactly. The idea that people can express both masculine and feminine traits.
Right.
So this study found a link between how people see their own intelligence and their gender identity.
I'm all ears.
For example, men who identified as more masculine tended to rate themselves higher in logical mathematical intelligence.
Interesting.
While men who identified as more feminine rated themselves higher in musical intelligence.
Wow, it's like those old stereotypes about intelligence.
Yeah.
Were actually reflected in how people see themselves.
Yeah, and it's important to remember that these are just self-perceptions. They don't necessarily reflect actual abilities.
Right, because we all know brilliant female mathematicians.
Of course.
And amazingly talented male musicians.
Right. This study just shows how societal expectations and gender roles can influence how we view our own intelligence.
Like, those expectations can become self-fulfilling prophecies in a way.
They can.
Shaping what we believe we're good at.
That's a great point. It shows how MI theory can be applied to understand complex social issues.
Yeah, like gender and identity.
Exactly.
Okay, so MI theory is not just some abstract concept.
Yeah.
It's being used to explore real-world questions about culture, gender, and how we understand ourselves and each other. Now, all this talk about multiple intelligences is making me wonder, is there a test we can take to figure out our own strengths?
You know, There are actually a lot of resources online that claim to assess your multiple intelligences. But a word of caution, you have to be really discerning about the source.
Right.
And the validity of those tests.
Yeah, because not everything you find online is legit.
Exactly.
So short of taking a questionable online quiz, are there other ways we can figure out our own strengths?
Absolutely. It really comes down to self-reflection and observation.
Okay.
Like, think about the activities you're naturally drawn to, the things you enjoy doing, the subjects you excel in, even the ways you approach problem solving.
Okay.
Those are all clues to your own unique blend of intelligences.
So if I'm like always drawn to writing and playing with words, could be a sign of strong linguistic intelligence.
Exactly. Or if you're always humming melodies, tapping your foot to the beat, getting lost in the beauty of music.
Okay.
That could indicate musical intelligence.
What about those of us who love to organize, create spreadsheets, analyze data?
Sounds like logical mathematical intelligence.
Yeah.
Might be your jam.
It's fascinating how we can learn so much about ourselves.
Right.
Just by paying attention to what we're naturally drawn to.
It is. It's like we've had these clues all along.
Yeah.
But MI theory gives us the framework.
Yeah, like a new lens to see things through. Yeah. But it's not about being good at everything, right?
No, not at all.
Or trying to be strong in all 8 intelligences.
Right. It's about embracing your own unique set of strengths and using them to navigate the world in a way that feels authentic to you.
And maybe even discovering some hidden talents along the way.
Exactly. The possibilities are endless once we start to see intelligence in this more multifaceted way.
You know, as much as we've explored these different intelligences, there's something we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
What does Gardner himself say about the impact of his theory?
Oh, that's a great question.
Like, what was he hoping to achieve by introducing this revolutionary idea?
Well, you know, Gardner has talked about how he sees his theory as more than just a way to categorize people.
Okay.
He sees it as a tool for empowerment.
Okay.
A way to help people unlock their potential. Yeah. By recognizing and nurturing all those different ways people can excel.
I love that. So instead of trying to squeeze everyone into the same mold, we celebrate those differences and let everyone shine in their own way.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that there are many paths to success and fulfillment and that our traditional measures of intelligence, they only capture like a tiny bit of all the amazing potential out there.
This whole deep dive has been a total mind shift for me. I'm already seeing the world differently, like how I learn, how I interact with others.
It's amazing how a new perspective can open up so many possibilities, right?
It is. And this is just the beginning. Yeah. There's still so much more to explore about MI theory and what it means for how we live and learn and create a more inclusive world.
For sure.
Speaking of exploring, now that we've covered the theory, the criticisms, and even those real-world applications, I'm wondering, what's the next step for our listeners? Where do they go from here?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that intelligence is so much more than a single score on a test. Right. We all have this unique blend of strengths.
Like our own special recipe.
Your own frames of mind.
I love that. It's like a reminder that we're all intelligent in our own way.
We are. And understanding our strengths can be incredibly empowering, whether it's in school, at work, or just in our personal lives.
So it's not just about understanding the theory.
Right.
It's about actually applying it, using it to learn and grow.
Exactly. It's an invitation to look inward.
Oh, okay.
To pay attention to the things that come naturally to us, to embrace our own unique way of seeing and being in the world.
I have to admit, I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
Me too.
And I bet our listeners are too. But before we let them go, I want to leave them with one final thought-provoking question.
Okay, hit me.
Now that you've learned about multiple intelligences, which ones really resonate with you? And how might understanding your own strengths influence your approach to learning or your career, or even just how you see yourself in the world?
That's a great question to ponder.
Right.
It's an invitation to continue this journey of self-discovery and explore how these intelligences shape who we are and what we're capable of achieving.
And for those who want to dive even deeper, remember this deep dive was inspired by just a small excerpt from Gardner's book, Frames of Mind. So there's a whole world of insights waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely. We've just scratched the surface here.
Well said. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Okay.
It's been an incredible journey exploring this fascinating world of multiple intelligences.
It really has. And remember, no matter what your IQ score says, you're intelligent in your own unique way.
Embrace those strengths. Keep those minds curious and keep on learning. Until next time.